So with the hotter weather around the corner, I wanted to focus my attention on some fragrances out there that are a little bit on the brighter side of things. Here we have 001 by Bon Parfumeur. This is a very bright citrusy fragrance, great for the hotter weather. I'm looking forward to giving you my thoughts on this one very soon, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on number 1 or 001 by Bon Parfumeur, very simple note breakdown. It just says orange blossom, petitgrain, and bergamot. I want to start the video off first by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance related content, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and also give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me. So of course, whenever I think of a lot of these citrusy ingredients, specifically petitgrain, I also think of neroli. Petitgrain is known as the poor man's neroli. It's not as expensive, but it is a bit more on the woodsy side of things. When they distill the essence from that citrus fruit, sometimes they also use the bark and many other ingredients that result in it smelling not only citrusy, but woodsy at the same time, specifically and precisely the effect that I'm getting here. Of course, when people think of neroli dominant fragrances, they think of 4711, Neroli Portofino. Yes, this is kind of in that family, but there is a lot else going on here, and I was pleasantly surprised by how long lasting of a fragrance this is, despite the fact that it's citrus dominant. In any case, I'll tell you all about the smell in just a little while. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you're certainly going to get those Neroli Portofino by Tom Ford and 4711 vibes. It opens up very bright, very citrusy. I mean, this is a very citrus forward fragrance, as if you couldn't already tell by looking at the note breakdown. Of course, there's also a floral component in here. There is orange blossom, but I'm also picking up on some clean white floral fragrances or ingredients in here. And of course, I think that aspect is almost giving it like a little bit of a soapy vibe. Now, think of fragrances like Naviglio by Milano Fragranze. That one is a great citrusy, but also kind of a soapy type of a fragrance. That's what you're going to get in here, but not as soapy, where it doesn't smell like a literal bar of soap or anything like that. It just kind of has like this clean essence that I think adds to the versatility and adds to that sort of everyday casual nature that this fragrance portrays. Of course, the orange blossom, it's not too orangey, and I think it's because that petitgrain ingredient really dominates. And as for the bergamot, I get it in here as well, but this is predominantly a petitgrain fragrance. I'm getting that petitgrain slash neroli essence quite strongly in this one. And then as you give it a chance to dry down, it does get a little bit woodsier, perhaps some cedar, perhaps some jasmine, like I said, some clean white floral ingredients, and maybe even something else green and earthy, maybe a touch of vetiver or something like that. But ultimately, this is very bright, fresh, refreshing. Of course, you have to be a fan of neroli and petitgrain to really appreciate this one. If you like Neroli Portofino by Tom Ford, but you're looking for something longer lasting, I would highly recommend this one because it's 100% in the same family. And the other thing that I really enjoy about this fragrance is the fact that you can, because I always considered citrus ingredients to be quite refined in nature, you can dress it up or dress it down, but I think there's something about the freshness and that refreshing quality that makes me want to wear it when I'm on the go. And I think people have heard this all the time where, you know, if you're going to go to the gym and you're going to be in high heat or you're going to be working out, you want to wear something very bright, fresh, citrusy, something that smells like you just came out of the shower. So I think that that's why my mind is going in that direction. But I can also see this being worn by somebody who is dressed in a well-tailored suit, like a nicely tailored suit. I think this would work really well for that. I just love how bright, how natural everything smells. It almost has like that clean floral starchy quality about it. I really love it. Nevertheless, number 1 by Bon Parfumeur, a fantastic hot weather fragrance from this brand. I own about 5 or 6 fragrances from this brand, and I know I've covered a few in the past. I think it's either 602 or 603, maybe both. If those are, you know, I don't do well in memorizing the numbers. I do better with the actual names of fragrances, but you know, 001 is fantastic. Definitely try it if you're looking for a great hot weather fragrance. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I do find that this is quite similar to Neroli Portofino, 4711, Naviglio, but of course this DNA has been played around with quite a bit. What's really going to set it apart is how long it lasts, how natural it smells, and if there's any added complexity, and I think this ticks all three of those boxes. Longevity for a citrus-based fragrance was actually quite surprising. I got about 7 hours on clothing, I got about 5 or 6 hours on skin, but I would definitely recommend spraying this one on clothes. It's going to give you that added boost that you're looking for. Projection was quite wonderful. For the first hour and a half of application, radiated far beyond an arm's length, but it became an elbow's length scent right around hour 3, a skin scent right around hour 5 or 6. In terms of the versatility, I think this one is perfectly unisex, although I can see a lot of people arguing that it's masculine leaning, especially if they're going to make comparisons to fragrances like 4711. Dressed up or dressed down, anybody of any age, but I would wear this strictly in the hot weather. In terms of the presentation, I really do enjoy the presentation of their fragrances, and I do like the fact that even with something like this, it's eau de parfum as opposed to an eau de toilette. So it's a bit more strongly concentrated. But my final verdict on this fragrance is it's an amazing citrus fragrance. Definitely one that I would recommend you get your nose on. I think it's great in terms of the quality, the versatility is wonderful, and it is long lasting for citrus fragrance, which is something that we don't come across too often nowadays. So whenever we do get it, I think we have to appreciate it. But nevertheless, thank you so much for watching. That was my review of 001 by Bon Parfumeur. Have you tried any of the brand's fragrances? Do you have any favorites? If you do have any insight from me whatsoever, drop your comment down below. Also, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and also hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I do upload these videos in the channel, and I upload on a daily basis. Thanks again for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode.